Whose role is it to do the dishes?
So that's the dishwashers. That's the dishwasher's role too.
What if there's no dishwasher?
Then whoever eats should be ready to clean.
A friend came to visit us. Yes, a friend came to visit, and after we had dinner, my husband helped to clear up and started to wash up. And the guy went, "You're doing the dishes. I don't do dishes." You remember that?
Yeah.
And then another occasion, we went to visit them. And we finished dinner, and the man was washing. And we were like, why are you washing? He was like, I now wash her. I now wash her. When she's always having headache every night. Not sure. He wisened up.
Well, you have to.
Hey everyone, welcome to Relationship Real Talk, where we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real. It's great to have you on this episode. If this is your first time stopping by, I'm Mary Eniolu.
And I'm Julius Eniolu.
And we are your hosts on this show. Now, if you haven't subscribed, do that now so you don't forget. And do share as well. We're on 4 social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So follow us, like, subscribe so you can be notified when we release new episodes. Before we carry on, we have great news. We're writing a book.
It is going to be an amazing book, if I have to say that myself.
30 ways to divorce-proof your marriage.
Yes.
So we've just celebrated 30 years of marriage, and we thought we will share one insight per year on how we have managed
things that has helped us.
Yeah, not just to endure our relationship, but to actually enjoy it and to thrive. So if you haven't gotten your copy, go get it on Amazon. 30 Ways to Divorce-Proof Your Marriage by Julius and Mary Eniolu. But today we want to talk about something that I think is very pertinent in our world today.
Yeah. We want to explore what are the roles of the man and the roles of the woman in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people are blessed that they can see mom and dad, you know, growing up, so they have an idea of what a man does or what a woman does. But there are places where there is no mom and dad.
That's true.
And they may not know what are the roles of the men and what are the roles of women, especially in our days where social media has suggestions or ideas of what the roles of women are in society and what the roles of men are. Are these actually helpful? So those are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, and some of what we talk about may be controversial. It may be controversial. So if you have a different opinion, feel free to share. That's absolutely fine. By now, if you've followed us for any length of time, you probably know that we're both people of the Christian faith. So for us, our foundation is always scripture. It's always the Bible. We believe there is a God who created us.
Yeah.
And so if we want to really discover who we are, we have to explore that through the lens of scripture.
Yeah.
Because it's the creator of a thing that really knows fully what that thing was created and meant to be.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start from that premise. I'm going to start from biblical foundation. When God created man, he made man and woman, and then he gave the man a job. He said, your role is to tend the garden, take care of it, right? And then he said, you need help. You can't do it by yourself. I'm going to make you a helpmate. So for me, when I think about the role of the man and the woman, that is where I start from. The woman was primarily made to help the man.
Yeah.
To help the man fulfill a purpose, a destiny. My view is, and I know again, this people are going to find this controversial, maybe because they don't fully understand what it really means. My view is the man is the head of the home.
Yeah.
And when I say the head of the home, it doesn't mean they are the bully. Because very often when people hear the head, they think, oh, are you trying to say they dominate me? Are you trying to say that they're better than me? Are you trying to say, no, it's none of that. The way I see it is, at the end of the day, if 2 of you know how to drive, and both of you want to get to London, I'm laughing because I remember a funny story. when we were driving, we were driving, we couldn't have both been driving, but you were driving, and I felt you needed to go a certain way, and I actually took hold of the stick, didn't I?
No, well, you felt I should reverse,
right?
And I obviously I was thinking something different, and then you put the car.
I put the car on reverse.
And there was going to be an accident.
Exactly. So that is what happens when there is no direction, when there is no one in charge of where you're going.
When there is no submission.
When there is no submission, when there's no submission, but also when no one is in charge.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is in charge, then it's for the others to submit to that person who is in charge. So that's the way I say it. Now, I know how to drive. I can drive anywhere. My husband knows how to drive. But in that instance, somebody needed to lead. So the role of the husband, as far as I'm concerned, is that leadership role. Does that mean the woman doesn't have any say? Does that mean she doesn't have any ideas? Does that mean she doesn't have any clue? Absolutely not. The role of the man and the woman is a partnership role.
Absolutely.
But sometimes when push comes to shove and a decision has to be made, but both of you are not agreeing, then what happens?
Yeah. Somebody has to make a decision.
Somebody has to make a decision.
And even saying that, I mean, I've not been the one that is responsible for all the decisions.
Absolutely not.
Made in the last 30 years. I welcome your views. I like to hear them. I like to hear your points. Sometimes I hate listening to them, but I have to listen.
You hate listening to them?
You know, but by that I mean I want to do something else.
Right. Okay.
And you want us to do something else, and I really don't want to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at the back of my mind, I know there is value in what you're saying, and I want to hear you out. And that may even help me make a better decision. So the idea that we say the man has to be the final say it's not written on stone, basically. That's the concept.
And the reason it's not written on stone is when the man has enough security, feels it's secure enough in themselves to understand they don't know it all.
Exactly.
So it's just like a leader in an organization. I'm a leadership coach, so I work with leaders. Any leader that is great at leading knows they don't have all the answers.
That's right.
So if you know you don't have all the answers, you will do well and it will be wise to listen to those on your team and listen to their ideas so that you are gleaning from their minds and you're not trying to come up with all the answers yourself. It's similar to the relationship between the man and the...
If you come up with all the answers all the time, basically you are... I was going to say you undermine the other person, but you are sabotaging the relationship because, like you say, you don't have all the answers. You don't have all the wisdom. You don't have all the information. So, you got to be, I like how you put it, you got to be comfortable in you've got to be secure in your own person. Knowing that the fact that you are not the final say on this matter does not depreciate you. It actually gives you the opportunity to harness the wisdom from the other person for a better output.
So it leads me to the question then, just talking practically now. So like I said, that's my premise. That's where I come from. The man is the head of the family. So what does that mean in practical terms? What does that mean in real life? Is the man supposed to be the breadwinner in the home?
That's a fantastic question. So if we look at life in the West especially, and maybe in Africa as well, there was a time that women were homemakers, right? The economy afforded people the luxury of one of them going to hunt, being a farmer or working in an office, and the women just working at home. However, during the world wars, the men were at war, and breadwinning was suffering. The families were suffering. So the women were forced to the work market, and they have never returned back home since that time.
They found that sometimes it's easier actually to go to work than to stay all day at home.
I would not disagree with you, because there are many men who feel, I go to work you stay at home doing what?
Doing what?
You know,
You stay at home one day and you'll find out doing what.
I once had that mentality, you know, like I've been to work, you've been at home, but being at home is hard work as well. Anyway, so now the economy has changed. The dynamics in the homes have changed. So both men and women can go out and should go out, you know, where possible to earn money. So it is very possible that the men could earning more, because even in our society there is that inequality of pay and stuff like that. But it is not impossible that the women earn more than the man. It doesn't reverse the role in such instances.
Yes.
You know, essence of being the head of the family is not so much about how much you bring into the table. It's a spiritual principle.
And it's a responsibility.
Yes.
It's a position of responsibility. And I think it's really important because obviously, you know, we have this movement, if you want to call it that, of feminism, you know, women's rights, and I'm all for that. But I think we shouldn't get to the point where we lose the essence of the feminine aspect of the woman. The Bible describes us as the weaker vessel for a reason, right? And it doesn't mean I'm weak. You're always going on.
I was going to say that, you know, the being the weaker vessel does not mean you're weak, fragile.
Yeah.
It just means you're tender.
I should be preferred.
Yes.
I should be pampered. I should be. Are you listening?
Yeah. I've been practicing that for the last 30 years.
In this, I should be treated with just, you know, that's a delicate person.
With
that's a delicate flower.
Yes.
And there's nothing, I actually love that. There's nothing wrong with it. For me personally, I think the man, and this can differ in homes. This can differ in homes. And we write about this in our book, you know, because in every home, you decide what works for you.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, I think if you just look at the way a man is built, I think the man is supposed to protect the woman. Don't be running away when the dog is coming, please. It's your role to protect the woman. I really think so. And some people might think this is mundane, but I think in the world we live in today, people are confused as to what is expected of a man.
Yeah.
So I think the man is supposed to protect and to provide.
Yeah.
It's the primary role. Now, there might be those times where you're not in a position to provide because maybe you're in between jobs or whatever, but I don't think there's any man that should be comfortable
with the wife
just being the sole breadwinner and he's not doing anything. That is not the way it was meant to be.
Yeah. But something I also wanted to chip in as well is don't allow society to dictate to you what the roles of men are or the roles of women are.
In your own home.
Yeah, somebody can easily say, but that's what you're doing. We're looking at it from a balanced point of view.
And we're speaking generally.
Yeah.
Generally, that is what is expected, and that's what it should be naturally. Like I said, if you look at the build of a man, you can see that the man is built different to a woman, and there's a reason for that. However, like you said, with your own home, you determine what works best for you.
Yeah.
If you both decide, yes, we're entirely happy for the woman to be the main breadwinner and for the man to be the house husband, then kudos to you. That works for you. I mean, for instance, the question, who does the dishes? Whose role is it to do the dishes?
So that's the dishwashers. That's the dishwasher's role too.
What if there's no dishwasher?
Then whoever eats should be ready to clean.
But here's the point I'm making. In our house, for instance, you actually fight me.
I don't fight you, but
you do.
Yeah, I get the point.
You actually fight. You do. When I say fight, we're actually struggling. I'm saying, honey, put it in the dishwasher.
But I enjoy washing.
You enjoy washing.
It's therapeutic.
That's the point. You enjoy doing the dishes, but I don't even want you to do the dishes. I want you to put it in the dishwasher. So for somebody else looking from the outside, and actually we had this situation, didn't we? A friend came to visit us. Yes, a friend came to visit, and after we had dinner, my husband helped to clear up and started to wash up. And the guy went, you're doing the dishes. I don't do dishes. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then another occasion, we went to visit them. And we finished dinner, and the man was washing. And we were like, why are you washing? He was like, I now wash. I now wash. When she's always having headache every night. Not sure. He wisened up.
Well, you have to because For me, somebody may think I'm just too biased towards women, but I actually think women are super women. They are super because most women have 9 to 5, just as the man has 9 to 5. Then the women take on some roles culturally imposed on them in the homes. Like they have to cook, they have to clean, and the men feel I've worked and that's my job done. So he comes from work, sits in front of the telly and is reading the newspaper. She comes from work, drop her bag at the door, run upstairs to the kitchen, cooks, and then gets in bed. You're saying, honey, come.
Let's get it on.
No, how's that possible?
I've got a headache, I'm sorry. And then the guy thought, I can't afford for her to be having a headache every night. So he decided to cook. But here's the point. If you were not secure, and by the way, that's partly why I love you so much. If you were not secure in yourself, you could have felt a little bit less than when he said, you're washing, I don't wash. So you could have been, you could have felt threatened.
Yeah.
Your manhood could have felt threatened. Then you could go, he doesn't wash, why are you making me wash? But because you knew yourself, you're secure in who you are, you're not intimidated by the dishes. You were able to just go like, well, that's you, that's fine, but I'm happy to wash. And here's the thing, at the end of the day, he is now copying you.
Exactly.
So don't copy other people thinking, well, that's how it should be, that's how it should be. What works for you, let that be what works for you.
Allow common sense to prevail, logic to prevail. Because, like I keep saying, in most homes, the man works, the woman works. The woman brings some of her money. The man brings some of his money. If you want that arrangement, and yet you want the woman to be responsible for cooking, for cleaning the house, and for doing everything in there, you are being unreasonable.
And unfair. It's unfair.
It's okay if you do all the work and bring all the money, and she looks after the family. That will be fair.
If that's what you agree, because there's some women, I personally know, for me, the way I'm wired, I cannot be satisfied or fulfilled or happy just being a housewife. And thank God I'm married to someone who sees me and understands my value and my potential and wants me to be happy and fulfilled and frees me to be all that I can be. So again, we're repeating what works for you. Don't borrow other people's tradition into your home. But on a high level, generally, I think the men should provide, the men should protect.
And spiritually speaking, the man should lead. And when I say lead, I don't mean telling everybody where to go, but you got to be the man in the house. You got to be the man in the place of prayer, protecting your family prayerfully, taking your family. You're the priest over that family. If that role gets weakened, then the family may be endangered. So spiritually, try to man up and be the man of the house.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I knew it was going to be a controversial one, but it was important that we talked about it, especially with everything going on social media now, where there's just this blurring of roles and identities. Really, it's really that there's a difference between a man and a woman. There is a difference. We're not the same. We were never meant to be the same. We're not made to be the same. We're different. It doesn't mean the man is superior, but we are different. So somebody in the studio just asked, what's my definition of providing? Providing means you make provision. Meaning, if you're the man, taking upon yourself that my family will not starve. You take that responsibility upon yourself. If the woman, for whatever reason, is unable to get a job or unable to work, in a sense, as far as I'm concerned, it's pardonable. But for the man, it's unpardonable for you to sit and just expect that somebody will just, maybe your wife will be the one to provide. So make sure your family does not go without. Take that as your responsibility. That's what I mean by provide. Make sure your family does not lack.
It doesn't mean that the woman doesn't bring anything to the table.
Absolutely not.
They do, but at the back of your mind as a man, desire to be the main breadwinner, in that family. It's like I keep going back. The women will bring some to the table. They might even bring more to the table, but never give up on your desire of being the main breadwinner in that family.
Yeah, and it might not be main in the sense that maybe the woman is positioned to earn more than you, but as the man, you should never be comfortable about not being able to provide for your family. That's the point. And if the woman is in a position where they're earning more, in the same way, the man should not feel less than because the woman is providing more. And the woman should not treat the man less than because they are earning more. Providing personally for the woman's care. I think the man needs to think about it. Is that something you would love to do or not? Because when you're courting a woman, that is part of what you do. You want to impress them. You buy them flowers, you take them out to dinner, maybe you buy them a gift or whatever. So when you get married, why should that change? I personally think it should be your desire to want to do that for them out of love. Maybe not an obligation, but should be a desire. Just as for the woman as well, it should be your desire to want to treat your husband or spoil them in whatever way they love to be spoiled. I think if there's love, then that should inform your actions. So if you want your woman to look nice, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you.
However,
paying for her hair.
However, the woman should be equipped to earn for themselves.
Absolutely.
And to look after themselves. They shouldn't wait for the man to have to buy clothing and whatever they need for their upbringing. The dynamics should be of coexistence.
Absolutely.
Rather than dependency.
So is hair and nails necessary? It depends on the couple. If the woman, this is my honest view, if the woman loves to get her hair done and loves to get her nails done and she can't afford it and the man can afford it, then there's nothing wrong with the man paying for her to be able to get her hair and her nails done. That is part of providing. But when I said providing, I wasn't thinking about things like that. I was thinking about making sure the family is comfortable, providing a home, providing safety, taking care of the family. But all those extra bits, right? If the woman loves it, and if you can afford it, why not? And again, it has to come from that place of love rather than a sense of obligation. If the woman can afford to pay for it for herself, there's nothing wrong with her paying for it for herself. If the man loves to see his woman with lovely nails and lovely hair, then he can pay for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The question is, if the man is not particularly into you getting your hair done and your nails done, and the woman loves to get her hair done and her nails done, should she still go ahead and do it? If I love to get my hair done and I love to get my nails done and I can afford it, there's nothing wrong with me going to get my hair and my nails done. I love doing it, and I shouldn't be deprived of that just because my husband couldn't be bothered.
And that should not be offensive to the man.
The
man.
I think the main thing, let's not forget, it's a love relationship. It's a love relationship, right? So I love this person. When you love someone, you want to please them. You want to do stuff to make them happy. So let us start from that premise. And that is where I'm answering that question from. If you know that your wife loves to get their hair done, loves to get their nails done, but you couldn't really be bothered, let them do it for themselves, to please themselves. There's nothing wrong with them doing it for the pleasure of doing it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. If the family cannot afford it and they're insisting they have to get their hair and their nails done, then it could become a problem.
Yeah, it goes back to the point that BJ was making earlier. Is it that important?
Maybe not that important. So if you can't afford it, then you're going to, because life is always about prioritizing, isn't it? If it's not that much of a priority and you can't afford it, then it will be unreasonable for the woman to insist they have to spend so much to get their hair and their nails done, when that might mean no food for the baby or whatever. So, but I think if we come from a place of love and seeking to prefer the other person, we can work out the fine details.
So the question is, should marriage be treated as a partnership or a union?
Or a union.
It is both.
It's both, yeah.
It is a partnership because you are coexisting in these new dynamics that you're starting together. The Bible says the two shall become one. So it's a partnership. And it is a union.
Because you become one.
Yeah, again, as the Bible says, the two shall become one. So, Yeah, absolutely. It is not one or the other. It is both.
And it doesn't mean it's an equal partnership either. It doesn't mean you have to bring £100,000 and you have to bring £100,000. It's not that sort of a equal partnership.
It's a business relationship.
Yeah, it's both parties bringing 100%. Your 100% might be £50 a month. My 100% might be £200 a month. But we're bringing everything. So when you understand it's a partnership and a union, when the two become one, then what is yours is mine. What is mine is yours. It's merged. It's one.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter anymore. And that's why I was saying maybe instances where the woman is earning more than the man. It shouldn't matter because what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. Apart from our relationship, what's mine is mine.
That's just a joke.
No, that's a joke. But that's the thing, So if you're a union, then that means what you bring together is for both of you.
Yeah.
But it's also a partnership in the sense that both parties have to have a role to play.
Yeah.
Both parties have their role to play. What that role is determined by both of you.
Yeah.
So we've talked generally about what we believe generally should be the role of a man and generally what should be the role of a woman. But in your own home, how you work it out is up to you. What helpmate means to you in your home is up to you. So in our home, I still consider myself to be my husband's helpmate. What that means is I help him in ministry. I support him in taking care of the children, in whatever way I support him. That might look different in another family. The way you support your husband could be different to the way I support my husband. But at the end of the day, the role of the woman is to support the husband, to make sure that we have a healthy, wholesome family. So I don't know if that makes sense.
So the question is, if somebody slacking on their role, wouldn't that cause a problem? It would. I can't remember who Arsenal was playing, but a game of 11. So 11 versus 11, that's balanced. And then all of a sudden, I think it was Fabregas. Fabregas go red carded or something like that. He left, and a few minutes after he left the pitch, the other team scored. It is natural because now all of a sudden you got 11 playing against 10. So when in a partnership means you bring 100% of yourselves to the table. When one is slacking, it means one will have to rise to carry the load of two. Everything else will suffer. Emotionally, spiritually, financially, everything else will suffer. So it is super important. That's why I started by calling for you being whole. When you are whole in yourself and you're ready for this relationship, you rise up to the occasion as opposed to allowing the other person to carry the burden.
But also that's why it's important to start right. So that the last episode we were talking about looking out for certain things before you go into the partnership, because it's pointless going into the partnership and then suddenly realizing this person is slacking. If they're slacking already before you get married, don't think they're going to stop slacking just because they got married. So it's so important to look out for those things that matter to you, so you don't get disappointed when you get into the union. So if you have any comments or any questions, please put it in the chat. We would love to hear from you. We would love to answer your questions. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Subscribe. Go check out 30 Ways to Divorce Proof Your Marriage on Amazon. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Relationship Real Talk, where we talk all things relationship, always keeping it real.
Thanks for joining us.